If you're coming to Sicily, there's a good chance that at least one of these mistakes are already a part of your plan.
But don't worry about it, you are not in it alone.
Hi, I'm Anya.
And I'm Lucas.
And this is our channel Spark of Sicily. We share our life and experiences in Sicily unfiltered.
Today we are going through 15 mistakes we have seen people make in Sicily.
So hopefully after watching this video you will know exactly what to avoid.
Mistake number 1, treating Sicily as the rest of Italy.
Sicily hasn't been just part of Italy for most of its history. That's why you will see a lot of Greek influence, but also Arab influence quite a lot, Roman, of course, Spanish and Norman.
That's all fascinating in itself, but it also means there is a very different vibe in here than in Rome or Milan.
You will see that in everything, especially food here has a lot of Arab influence. So don't expect to see just the Italian dishes that you already know and love.
You can also notice from the communication, Sicilians are more direct. You can feel that they're a little bit yelling at you in the market. This is very normal. They as well have their own dialect. And when your Duolingo is starting to giving up, that's the reason, because they are starting to switch in their own dialect.
Yeah, Sicily for sure has her own personality and she is a diva. But talking about making your plans for the next trip, mistake number 2, trying to see everything. Oh my god.
Sicily is the biggest island in Mediterranean, and lots of people just don't realize how big it actually is.
We already told you that Sicily has a diva's personality and Mount Etna will never let you forget it. So we understand. You want to see Palermo and then you want to see Europe's most active volcano in action while she's putting on a show.
And when you check Google Maps, it will show you just a couple of hours ride. But it's not the reality. The reality is that you will be stuck in a car for more hours than you anticipated. You will need to go to take nice pictures with your loved ones, see the viewpoints, take a couple of more coffees.
And then never forget that the roads in between towns are often mountain roads. So depending on your skill and how comfortable you are on them, that can take much more time than anticipated.
And what is the worst thing than not to enjoy gelato or aperitivos on the beach? You want to be stuck in the car?
Exactly. So what we suggest is rather see fewer places, but see and enjoy them properly.
That takes us to the next thing. What is actually the great location to go to? Mistake number 3, not choosing the right town.
Now you have realized that you cannot see everything. And the next question becomes, so where should you go? And this is where we see most people make the biggest mistake.
Because they are looking for the perfect town. The perfect town in Sicily, it doesn't exist.
The perfect town depends on the holiday that you personally are looking for. Do you want the sandy beaches or dramatic cliffs? Do you want a busy town with lots of restaurants or you prefer something more quiet? Do you want a very local experience and you're ready for it? Or you would prefer rather a little more polished towns for tourists?
Mostly people fall in love with city they saw online, and upon arrival they feel it isn't the right match.
You have to be very honest with yourself and ask, what kind of holiday am I truly looking for? And once you can answer this question, choosing the right town becomes very easy.
And talking about towns, does that mean that you should visit only the famous ones? Mistake number 4, visiting only the most famous places.
I mean, they are famous for a reason, so we are absolutely not telling you to skip them.
But there are so many underrated places in Sicily. That is probably the thing that surprised us the most.
I mean, the Valley of the Temples is phenomenal, of course. But if somebody would ask us now, we would probably tell to visit the Roman amphitheater in Catania or the archaeological park of Selinunte first.
But it's not only about the ruins. There are so many beautiful places we found by accident.
Mine is probably that completely unmarked hike we had in mountains with Milo. I mean, we had absolutely no idea where we were going. Or that one random exhibition in Palermo where we simply walked into it and it was literally one of the best experiences we had in Palermo, I think, in total. Or Easter, when all of the churches opened their doors and they were so fantastically beautiful. Even the Cannoli festival in Piana degli Albanesi, none of those places and experiences were planned, honestly.
For me, it is still the apartment we rented in Modica, or just taking Milo for a walk every day. The fact that we get to experience this beauty on a daily basis is the best feeling for me.
But we did already tell you that Sicily has a diva's personality.
She treats you the same way as you treat her.
We noticed that people who come here with an open mind, an open heart, and genuine appreciation of the island itself usually have the most randomly unique and wonderful experiences here.
So don't just come with checklists, let Sicily surprise you guys.
I know that probably makes you want to book your flight straight away, but before you do, let's talk about the mistake number 5. Coming in peak season and expecting empty beaches.
This one is actually very simple. In August and July, expect people here.
I mean, Sicily is one of the most famous summer destinations in Europe, so if you go to the most popular beaches in towns, expect a lot of people. That's not really unusual.
It doesn't really help that Sicilians like the big celebrations. Even the smallest towns can fill up very quickly.
So, if crowds are not your thing, maybe visiting out of the peak season or going to one of the lesser known towns or beaches could be the way to go.
Speaking of beaches, are they all equal? Mistake number 6, thinking that every beach has sand.
Now, don't get us wrong, Sicily has so many gorgeous, beautiful sandy beaches, but Sicily has just as many rocky ones as well.
And don't underestimate those rocks. They are one of the most beautiful beaches in Sicily. There is one thing though, you should get ready and take with you swimming shoes.
Those rocks can be very sharp and getting in and out of water can be difficult. Why do you think your favorite influencers never show you getting in and out of water on those picture-perfect rocky beaches?
And they are not less beautiful than the other ones. You just need to get ready and take your swimming shoes. You don't want to end up and just watch people swimming there and you staying aside.
Exactly. And actually, on the topic of planning ahead,
Mistake number 7, not booking things in advance.
I know, we have been telling you to be more spontaneous in Sicily. We still do stand by that.
But book the things you absolutely don't want to miss, then go with the vibes.
We learned this lesson the hard way planning our trip to Favignana, and we went in June. We still had to change our plans because the ferry tickets were simply fully booked out. Now, just imagine trying to do the same thing in July or in August.
The same thing goes as well for restaurants, boat trips, courses, excursions.
But now, when you have already made all of your bookings, let's talk about how will you actually get around the island. Mistake number 8, not renting a car and relying only on public transport.
This one depends entirely on what type of vacations you are planning. It is possible to do vacation here without a car.
Of course, public transport exists, but it's not always the easiest to navigate and it doesn't always take you to places you want to see. Plus, the timetables, even when you find them, they are not the most reliable information out there. Let's put it that way.
If you stay a few days in Palermo, it is absolutely okay without a car. But once you want to visit beaches, little towns, or another spots, you will need a car.
And if driving in Sicily is something that you're concerned about, don't worry. Once you leave Palermo, it is not nearly as bad as people make it out to be. And a shameless pun here, if you're still worried about driving in Sicily, we do have a separate video on that alone. So make sure to watch it after this video, of course.
And there is one more thing you should be careful about. If you don't want to take a souvenir with you from Sicily. Mistake number 9, driving into historic centers and ZTL zones.
This can become a very expensive souvenir you get from Sicily.
Historic city centers have ZTL zones and you shouldn't drive there unless you have a permit.
And don't expect there to be some huge gate blocking your way. Sometimes all you get is a sign and then a few months later a fee arriving at your home. And as we are already walking, let's talk about how much of it there actually is. Mistake number 10, underestimating the walking. If you're coming from one of the countries where you drive mostly everywhere, this one might take you by surprise.
On the days when we are exploring or simply wandering around Palermo, it is completely normal for us to walk something like 16 kilometers, which is around 20,000 steps.
Historic towns and centers here must be explored by walking. Just imagine yourself wandering through tiny historic towns, stopping for a coffee, seeing something interesting, making a huge, gigantic detour, and your smartwatch is congratulating you suddenly.
So the advice is, take your comfortable shoes because your feet will thank you for that.
But after all of that walking, you are probably getting hungry, and that leads us to the next mistake.
Mistake number 11, ignoring the eating times.
Sicily has her own rhythm, and that applies to food as well. I think we talk about this in most of our videos because this one still catches us off guard and we live here.
If you are planning to go to a restaurant at 3 or 4 afternoon and expect the full lunch menu, you might get disappointed.
Dinner also starts much later here, and it is completely normal to see restaurants fill up only around 8 p.m. Once we even went to dinner at 10 p.m., and Sicilians were definitely less surprised about that than when we dared to come at 6. What?
So now when you know when to eat, let's talk about paying for it. Mistake number 12, not having any cash.
Cards are accepted in most places here, so don't worry, you're not stepping back in time.
But it is always a good idea to have cash with you, because if you want to experience local markets, some best stalls don't take cards and you don't want to miss out on that.
Carrying cash is definitely one of those things that we also had to learn the hard way, and it has saved us on more than one occasion, especially for parking in some smaller towns, or once even for a highway toll when the machine just decided, you know what, cards today are not my vibe.
And one more thing, when you finish eating in a restaurant, don't expect them to come after you and giving you bills right away.
Once you are ready to leave, just ask for the bill or just go inside to pay. Plus, in the bill, you will probably see a small coperto, that is the cover charge. So, tipping, while appreciated, of course, is not mandatory here in Sicily.
That brings us to more customs, so let's have a look at that.
Number 13, not respecting the local customs.
This one is very simple. You don't have to behave like a local, but if you have appreciation for local culture, people will appreciate it.
For example, you do not eat and walk in Sicily. They sit down even for a gelato, and I truly think that in Sicily, eating and walking is viewed as worse than texting and driving.
Or for example, when you visit churches, dress appropriately, because even in this heat in summer, you have uncovered shoulders or knees, they might not let you in.
Plus, a simple please and thank you can take you a very long way here, or if you have a moment, stop and have a chat. Locals here really do take the time to get to know one another and to show appreciation and communicate and talk. And sometimes these little conversations can be so full of information, knowledge, or simply so funny, and they can easily become one of the best parts of your whole trip.
Number 14, expecting all-inclusive holiday in Sicily.
I mean, Sicily is simply not an all-inclusive kind of place, and if you're looking for something like that, maybe this is not the right place for you.
There simply aren't as many as all-inclusive hotels as you would expect. And if you stay in one in the end, you will miss out on a huge part of Sicily.
Sicily is a place you explore. You go and explore a old town square, then you go and have coffee in the piazza, then you head to the beach. The point is that the beach is not the main part of the holiday, it's just one small part of it.
I would recommend don't come for beaches, come for an entire island. That's where you might fall in love with it.
And that actually brings us to the last mistake, and one that made us move to the wrong place in Sicily when we first came here. And that leads us to number 15, and the mistake that we definitely made ourselves before coming to Sicily: reading and believing every article and review that you see online.
Every time you read something online on a Reddit or Facebook, Google, or even watching YouTube videos, remember one thing: there is always a reason for people telling you what they want you to hear.
And sometimes those reasons can be so very personal, and Sicily can simply be the location where something went wrong, but not necessarily the reason why it went wrong, if you know what I mean.
So you should ask yourself, what is the reason that this person is telling me that this place is so much better than the others? I mean, it can be just because he's selling me something, or because it's simply better click for him, but it might be not perfect place for you, or simply he might be chasing clicks.
Online, I think that is so very common, but we actually have to call ourselves out here as well.
Our opinions are shaped by our own experiences.
We have traveled extensively, we have lived abroad in so many countries, we have owned and do own properties abroad, including outside of Europe. We have gone through so much bureaucracy in our lives, actually from both sides, as the people going through it, but also as the people who worked for state institutions, so saw it from the other side as well, ourselves.
Which also means that many things that mean a lot for other people, they are not that hard for us anymore to go through.
But we still do remember the first times when everything felt like such a big deal and so difficult and not understandable.
That is actually one of the reasons we offer relocation consultations. Sometimes all you need is somebody to tell you, yep, that is completely normal, help you guide through it, and let you know when something really is worth paying attention to.
We were exactly where many of you probably are right now, reading about the rubbish and the chaos and everything that was supposedly wrong with Sicily.
So we thought, let's avoid all of that, and that is what took us to Cefalo in the beginning.
And there is absolutely nothing wrong with Cefalo. It is a beautiful town.
It just wasn't the right place for us. We had let other people's experiences decide for us before we had even experienced Sicily ourselves.
It's not until we actually started living here that we realized that we are definitely not a busy touristy town kind of people.
We are much more happier in some quieter place, and if we want to, we still can choose to be part of the chaos.
And I think this might be one of the most important points of this whole video and most of our videos actually.
There isn't a perfect place in Sicily. There is only the perfect place for you.
We really hope this video has helped you plan your trip, or maybe even made you feel a little more confident about planning your move to Sicily.
And thank you, really. Every single view, comment and subscription means we get to keep exploring Sicily and sharing it with all of you.
We genuinely could not do this without you.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and join us every Thursday for a new video from Sicily.
Thank you so much for watching, and we do hope to see you in the next video. Ciao!